What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, January 22nd, 2019. I hope you're doing well. Bitcoin with a nice daily looking candle in formation right now. Hasn't closed yet. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about momentum. Does Bitcoin have the momentum to climb its way out of this bear market? And where are we in that process? Let's jump into the video and talk about these things. So first things first, you see it on the screen. Bitcoin, a nice daily candle in formation. Hasn't closed yet. But from bottom to top, we have a range of around 6.5%, and from bottom to where we're trading now, right around 5.5%. So it's a strong looking bullish hammer. And what we find relevant about it is simply the fact that yesterday's video, we talked about finding key support at this bottom trend line in this pretty long-term symmetrical triangle, right? We want to bounce off this bottom trend line to test this upper trend line, more importantly, this 50 EMA. So right now, Bitcoin looking pretty strong and healthy. Whether or not that continues, we have to track that. And we can look at the 4-hour shortly. But first, I want to talk about momentum. We've talked a lot about momentum in terms of and in relation to that last bear market, right? So if we look at our charts, we have the bear market from 2014 into 15 right here. There's the bottom. We have this bear market that we're in now right over here. And if we look at the RSI, this very important oscillator, just take note of this 40 line that I've drawn on the screen. We've talked about the 40 line all year long on this channel, well before we've even approached it on the weekly charts for Bitcoin. But obviously, we have our 30 line down here, indicative of that oversold environment for Bitcoin. But the 40 line just does a really good job of painting and defining channels in bear markets. And so we've been talking about it all year long. And if you look at the weekly and you look at the 40 line on the RSI right now, you can see we're well below it. We've approached that highly oversold area. But what I want to talk about is Bitcoin in that last bear market, when it started climbing out of the bear market. Right around here in February, you see Bitcoin made an approach to the 40 line on the RSI, broke above it. It was a strong move for Bitcoin at the time, and it's a strong indicator of potential exits in the coming months or coming short-term time frame for Bitcoin. What I'm looking for Bitcoin is if we get that upward momentum to test this 40 line. Are we going to break it similar to this last bear market, or are we going to see rejection off of it back down? What's important about it is if you look at this time frame in that last bear market in terms of when Bitcoin broke above the 40 line, we can go to a cleaner chart. Right here is February. That is when Bitcoin broke above, and this is February on the daily chart, by the way, not the weekly anymore. But this is when Bitcoin broke above that 40 line on the weekly RSI. And what you see happening is Bitcoin breaking the 50 EMA. We had that first rejection 50 EMA, second rejection 50 EMA. Finally, Bitcoin broke that 50 EMA for that third attempt. And this is when that grappling around the 50 EMA started to really define the end of the bear market. We've been anticipating something similar for Bitcoin now, right? We have this rejection right here. Just below the 50 EMA. We have a second rejection at the 50 EMA. And we've been talking about and anticipating a move back to the 50 EMA to break it, similar to the last bear market when we broke it on the third attempt there. So simultaneous to that happening, what we look for is Bitcoin approaching the 40 line on the RSI here on the weekly charts, and basically seeing if it can break above that 40 line. That would be an incredibly strong indicator for Bitcoin in defining its bottom. It would be a bullish indicator, in my opinion, and that's what I'm kind of sitting back, I'm waiting to see. There's great potential that Bitcoin makes a move off of this bottom trend line to this 50 EMA and sees rejection, but we won't know until we get it. Right now, we do know we have a nice bullish daily candle in formation. So we have some short-term upward momentum. If we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see one thing that we do have is also 50 EMA on the 4-hour resistance just below a very critical area on the short term, which is the Fibonacci retracement from previous swing high to swing low. So right here, this 786 to 618 channel, we talk about it all the time in terms of resistance or support, and we're right below it right now. So on the short term, that's what you want to look out for. See if Bitcoin can break below or above that channel and make an attempt to run up to that 50 EMA, also the upper trend line on this daily chart. So right now, $3,900. We talked about it in yesterday's video. Key area for Bitcoin to break, but really interesting to watch it in confluence and in harmony with this 40 line on the RSI and the momentum on the weekly RSI for Bitcoin. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Keeping an eye on the 4-hour. Want to see if Bitcoin can break above this short-term resistance. You can see this last 4-hour candle wick just above it. And man, you can just see these last 4-hour candles, very interesting looking. So Bitcoin in a short-term indecisive position. Let's see what happens going into tonight, Tuesday, January 22nd. Let me know your thoughts below. Are you making out okay out there? I hope so. It just takes some patience. Let's see if we get a bounce off this trend line in this symmetrical triangle. Time will tell. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming by. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you all in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.